Today, I'm going to talk about sprained ankles and everything you need to know about taking care of your sprained ankle. Okay, well, it's not great, but it's coffee. So, I don't have a grinder, but I've started making more and more of my own coffee again because I'm trying to save money. But it kind of results in like mortar and pestle coffee. I've been trying to grind that way, but I think I'm just gonna end up investing in a grinder or something like that. But it's not bad. I mean, I can drink it. Um, so, anyways, it's finally winter time. I'm finally getting winter vibes, and I'm getting pretty excited because it's like, I don't know, there's something exciting about the holidays that's just so fun. But anyways, that's not what we're here for. First thing that happened is that you probably got your sprained ankle by either A, walking bad, maybe you tripped or stepped on a crack or a rock or something like that. That put your ankle in like an odd position, which caused you to tear or partially tear a tendon or ligament, or you either played sports or something. So when I was in basketball, I would always get sprained ankles because it was a contact sport and there's a lot of like different elements in basketball that like you don't have control over. So sprained ankles are like devastating in basketball because they happen so often and they're very annoying. So several things you can do when you've sprained your ankle. There's something called RICE, rest, ice, compression, and elevation. And those are the general steps or guidelines that people commonly practice when doing a sprained ankle. So let me go over that real quickly for you. So resting is basically what you want to do is you don't want to move. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on your ankle while it's healing, at least through the first week or something like that. Icing is basically to get the swelling down. We'll go into this more later, but swelling generally is a bad thing in the earlier stages of your injury. Compression, we basically want to wrap our ankle with kinesio tape or athletic tape or something like that to, again, lower the swelling, lower the amount your foot actually gets bigger. We want it to stay in like stay its normal size or as much of its normal size as we can get it to be. Elevation is also for swelling. Whenever you're sitting down or lying down or you're going to bed or something, you want to maybe put a few pillows or like a chair or something under your ankle so that it's at a higher angle than where your heart is, or like maybe at an even or level angle towards your body as where your heart is. And what this does is it keeps gravity from pulling too much blood towards your foot. So this again goes in with all the icing and all that stuff because too much swelling in the preliminary stages of a sprained ankle is bad. Swelling is generally good because what swelling does is it's your body trying to clean up all that junk and your body sending cells over to the injured area to like replace lost or missing or torn things. So in that case, swelling is good, but too much swelling is bad because then there's really just an excess of cells there. You're not going to get as much healing or productivity done as you normally would have gotten. So all those things, icing, compression, elevation are meant to reduce the amount of swelling that is being sent towards your newly sprained ankle, at least in the first stages. So for about the first week or so, you are going to practice RICE extensively, rest, icing, compression, elevation. We just want to lower the amount of swelling that is in your foot and lower the amount of movement and amount of pressure your foot is going through because we don't want to aggravate the injury. And once that is going down, once the swelling has gone down, then you can start moving. You can start walking on it. So I would recommend to wrap your tape with some, or not wrap your tape. I would recommend to wrap your foot with some athletic tape, some kinesio tape to kind of add some extra stability or support in those areas, but also to compress and keep the swelling down. And then what you might want to get is also an ankle brace. One of the flexible ankle braces or the more tighter ankle braces work just fine. Those do your ankle well because they provide support in areas where you have lost stability. So you're going to want to have those on, and then maybe like shoes if your feet can fit in them. Just anything to provide support to your ankle while you are initially trying to start moving again. And then probably the best thing that will help your body heal normally is to get a cane. A lot of people use crutches, but I don't recommend crutches because crutches, they hurt. They hurt your armpits a lot, and they don't get your ankle moving in the normal way that you want to do it. Getting a cane can add support, similar support, but allows you to use your ankle more like it's usually supposed to be used. So when you're doing that, it allows you to heal more normally. It allows your body to get back to a normal rhythm, because oftentimes when people experience sprained ankles or any one-sided leg injury, they start relying on the non-injured side. They start relying on the healed side more, and that causes several muscle imbalances, that causes several odd implications that might be worse for you in your athletic career in the long run or something. So get a cane. You can use it on your injured side or you can use it on your non-injured side. Just make sure you're starting to get used to putting pressure on your injured foot again. And this is going to happen gradually. We want to gradually, as long as it's pain tolerable, get more and more pressure back onto your injured ankle as possible. And then we're going to keep doing this until our ankle is basically strong enough to start walking again. So all through this while, you are going to lessen the icing effect. So initially you want to ice for about 20 minutes every few hours or so often to keep the swelling down. But as you start moving, as you start adding mobility to your sprained ankle, you're going to want to ice less and less. The reason for this is because swelling actually helps your injury. Like I said earlier, too much swelling, too much inflammation is bad, but a moderate amount of swelling is actually good for your ankle because your body is sending in reinforcements to that injured area to kind of repair everything. And then, the reason we don't want too much swelling is because it actually accumulates as scar tissue, and that can be annoying. Scar tissue is leftover swelling and inflammation in areas of your injured place or whatever that has built up after the healing process is done. And so it results in a lot of pain and a lot of lack of range of mobility and movement after you have healed. So we want to lower that as much as possible, and that's why we ice as much as possible, and we follow the rice steps or whatever. But once you've started moving and stuff like that, mobility, less icing, less frequently is probably better to get yourself back into a normal gait pattern. And so there is another exercise that a lot of doctors and physical therapists kind of recommend for your ankle. They are called, foot circles and foot alphabets. So when you are getting used to putting pressure on your foot again, there are several exercises you can do in addition to that will help your ankle tremendously. So one thing is to draw circles with your feet, both clockwise and counterclockwise. That is going to get your foot back into a normal range of motion. And it's also going to get you using your muscles again, like the proper ankle muscles that you used to use. It's going to build that foundation for you to get back on your feet. And then next is alphabets. So drawing A, B, C, D, uppercase and lowercase is going to help your foot a lot as well, because it's going to force your foot to go into odd ranges of motion that it is not used to. So make sure that you have a strong foundation again in your muscles for when you get back on your feet, so you don't immediately re-injure yourself when you walk again. I'd recommend doing those as often as possible. Maybe when you're sitting down or in class or something like that. I can go on and on and on about sprained ankle things that you can do. But I'm just going to leave you guys here with one more thing. When you're back on your feet, you're moving again, you're walking again, I want you guys to make sure that you have a normal gait pattern. And you can do this by checking yourself in the mirror or recording yourself with your phone through, like, I don't know, just like a dead on position. I want you guys to make sure that your gait pattern is normal. So you're not putting too much pressure on your non-injured foot. You want it to be even. The reason being is, like I said earlier, muscle imbalances can really, really screw you up without you even knowing, because your body has gained a new reliance on your uninjured side and might be subconsciously be placing more pressure on your non-injured side, meaning that your non-injured side can actually get injured in the future. We want it to be even. We want to walk like normal. So the easiest way to do that, of course, is to record yourself, monitor yourself, and make sure like literally how you walk looks normal, looks even. You're not leaning more to one side. You are walking more evenly. And then if you find yourself in an uneven walking posture or position or gait pattern, try putting more pressure on your injured foot or your uneven side, because like more so than the normal amount, because that's going to bring you back to balance. And then yeah, should be good. So I hope that cleared up a lot of the questions or things you had about what to do when you get a sprained ankle and how to recover best from a sprained ankle with like the minimum amount of scar tissue. This has worked for me a lot in the past, and I hope it works for you. So if you or someone you know has recently sprained an ankle or is still trying to recover from scar tissue or something like that, show them this video, because hopefully it'll help them. Yeah. Hopefully I missed anything. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will see you guys with another video next week.